Hey.
Okay, now I can see me, but I can't see. So, there you are.
There you are.
Jeez,
I see
Louise,
ya.
man. I don't know why it's not working.
I love it.
I don't remember why the hell we met.
Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world. We have a really cool show today. I have two of my favorite people on. So Kenny, who is one of my favorite people, is always on. So Kenny's with us. And then today we have Kelly Ison, who runs Einstein Pets. Kelly is one of my most favorite people in the world. And Abby, her dog, is also one of my favorites. And Robert, who kind of runs everything in the background, is also in there as well. So we thought, in the spirit of small business and, kind of people going places and doing amazing things, we wanted to bring Kelly on because she has this wonderful brand. Everybody loves it, and she is going places and doing things. So welcome to the show, Kelly.
Well, thank you. I'm very excited to be here. And I'm glad you didn't call me Kelly Einstein, because so many people do.
Really?
They're like, oh, can I talk to Kelly Einstein,
look what
please?
you've just done. Now you've planted it. It's Kelly Ison, so don't anybody call her Kelly Einstein.
I'll answer. That's all right.
Could be a lot worse.
Right?
Yeah,
right? I mean, hey, you think I'm smart. That's fine.
Yeah, you get called Einstein? I mean, I'd take it. Better than I usually get called.
I guess we shouldn't ask what that is, should we?
Just let it
go. So, Kelly, do you want to tell everyone kind of what you do?
Sure. I'll just give an overview. We were founded in 2012. I found it based on our dog, Abby, it's a little nod to her, Einstein Pets, because we think she's so brilliant. But we founded the company in 2012 as Einstein Pets, and we've grown from having probably about 2 stores in late 2013 to now having over 500 stores, and we're a global company. It actually took us about a year and a half to create our formula for our dog treat. That's why when we founded in 2012, we didn't launch until 2013. We infused our treats with chia seed. Can't say that word 10 times fast, but we infuse it with chia seed. And so I had to get the formula right. And through the testing, we realized that too much chia seed, although it sounds wonderful, the dogs are always going outside and going to the bathroom. So it wasn't a good thing in the middle of the winter. My friends who were testing for me were not very happy with me. So it took us a while to get the formula right. And when we did, we were able to launch it in a couple stores locally. And then we've just grown by leaps and bounds since late 2013 till 2018.
Nice. So now you're 500 stores kind of across the country?
Nationwide, and we do include some of those stores as far as like being in the UK, and we just did our first shipment to South Korea, which we're very excited about. We try to do small production runs into the different countries just to make sure we can kind of work through any of the kinks.
Yeah.
And then from there, we will then take on doing pallets with the different countries.
Nice.
Yeah,
super
Kelly,
exciting.
Is it plant-based or meat-based with chia with it?
So that's a great question. So we started out as just a plant-based, right? We felt that all the pets were getting enough meat through their regular food source, and we were just a treat, and that's what we were aiming for. We were just a chia treat, adding some benefits into their diet. Okay. But as we grew, people were always asking for some meat products, so we created a turkey based product, and then we just launched for the summer a limited edition, and it's called Luau Time for the party for the summer, and it actually has pork in it, and it's from farm raised pigs in the Midwest that we're able to get some really good product from, and it's a pure based raw ingredients into the product.
Right on. And all manufactured in the States?
It is all manufactured in the United States. So we originally started here out of our kitchen. Of course, you start doing the formulas. Then we went to actually working in a commercial kitchen with having some people work for us to make our products. And then we realized that we had to grow much faster. So we moved it to 2 bakeries now, out on the West Coast and 1 on the East Coast that produce our formulas for us.
Oh, wow. So you got 3 plants running.
2, and then we do all the fulfillment here. So they ship all of our products here, and then we ship out from Sarasota, Florida. So we do everything in the U.S., and we actually are shipping a couple places in Canada too.
Oh, really?
Not a lot, but a couple.
Independents or
one is an online, and yes, independent. So one is online. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. Having a dog business, what do? You always have your dog with you.
Yeah, your dog with you.
It's okay, don't worry about it. Phil and I aren't usually this well behaved either, so
yeah, no, we're
we might start barking pretty soon too. I wouldn't get too excited.
Well, I would hand you a treat, but I can't do that now, can I?
They actually taste pretty good.
Digital.
They taste pretty good. Fun fact, I think I ate one last time I was with you at your booth.
Well, you had no choice. I made you.
Yeah,
so.
I think you did, yeah. But they actually taste pretty good. I liked it, to be honest.
They are good. They're made for a dog. We don't put any sugar in them. I mean, there's a lot of popular treats out on the market today that if someone weren't to read the ingredients would think, oh, it's all natural. This is good for my dog. Mm-hmm. But it's all natural, pure cane sugar on the back of the packaging. So, I mean, it's a lot of things that go on in the industry. They're a little crazy. So it's just really important for people to understand what they're buying and looking at the packaging. And I think plant-based is really the way to go anyway. That way you can really add on top of the plant what you want to add in, like turkey, for example. Yeah. But it's still low and lean for the dog.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
so even in the sorry, Phil.
No,
in
go ahead.
The States, are you just so in the States you're selling to same thing? So pet stores pretty much, or are you in any mass, or is it grocery?
We are in some mass, and we're slowly in some grocery stores as well. So we have moved to having 2 distribution companies now for us, one on the West Coast and one here on the East Coast, and we're working to hopefully get a partnership with 2 other distribution companies as well that would help us through Florida and some of the other states. So as I was talking, Kenny, I actually just forgot your question.
I was more curious to see, like, in your terms of distribution, did you focus just on pet stores, small independents, chains? Did you go into mass grocery?
So we did something really odd that people would think was odd. We live in Sarasota, Florida, and we went outside of Florida to try to start selling our product. We took a road trip and started selling because we found it very challenging. Florida's just different and unique. Not that it's bad, it's just different. We were challenged by selling our product in Florida, and we found that a lot of the stores were bringing in product from other states, but to have local source, they wanted you to buy local, but they weren't buying local themselves.
That's weird.
So, yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
But it was kind of good for us because it was a good lesson early on. We had a lot of early on lessons learned that really, looking back on it, I think I'm glad that happened because it forced us to really, really go at it hard and figure out how we're going to really approach our customer base and who really is our customer. Because, just because you're around the corner, it doesn't mean you should be our customer. Mm-hmm. So our focus, Kenny, was always the dog boutique stores. We're not a $7 bag. We are a elite premium product, and we try to price ourselves at a really good medium price. But we are premium based. I mean, chia seed is organic. We do everything with oat flour for the digestion. And so our stores have always been the dog boutiques, and we slowly are now moving into more grocery stores as well, and bigger stores like Hollywood Feed.
Okay. And so what was it with Floridians that didn't quite get what you were trying to do?
Well, now...
no offense to Floridian. I mean, it's all good, right?
Yeah. And I'm not really sure. You'll hear some people say, well, the dog didn't like them, and that happens all the time, but... Sure. It really is, they're taking them home and testing them on their own dog, right? And they're not testing them in the market. So if their dog didn't like them, they're not going to bring them in, but they're not buying product from their own store. There wasn't really one thing we could put our finger on. So we just went outside the state and just did a road trip up the Northeast along Connecticut and Washington. And we were able to get into a few stores. We had different packaging then, so it changed how we were viewed. We had a 5-ounce silver bag that everybody starts out in with a label. And now that we've moved to printed packaging, it's helped. It's moving us into the right direction. You
were growing like crazy amounts last time I talked to you, right? So for the listeners, Kelly moved from kind of like the standard silver foil bags that you kind of see all the time. They went to this gorgeous, really well branded product. Probably 18 months ago-ish now?
Yeah,
somewhere
it was
in there,
probably, 2017, so that would be about 18 months, right?
Yeah.
It was about 18 months ago.
And then your business kind of like shot, right? Like it shot up and kind of took off, no?
It did. You know what helped was we got our one distribution company, LO Pet Supply, on the West Coast.
Okay.
We changed our packaging. We changed how we didn't just try to go into every dog store, dog boutique. We realized that originally we thought we wanted everybody to want our product. It just doesn't work that way, right?
Okay.
Just can't go in. So the printed bags helped us be more visible on the shelves. So by doing that, it helped us get into more Florida stores as well.
Yeah.
They felt like we stood out among the other products, and they then could say that we were locally sourced and locally made in Florida.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a little backwards, but it worked.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, you kind of, I think a lot of our guys that listen to us start in, small places and try and do small things, right, and then grow. I was going to ask you, you said you had a lot of lessons learned. Are there any kind of like big lessons that you'd want small? Kenny and I talk about this stuff all the time, right? Because we talk about, when you should be doing your own stuff, when you should outsource stuff, like when to be anxious, when not to be anxious. Are there any kind of like big lessons that you kind of tell everyone to, that were big for you that they should be heeding?
Yeah, one of the big lessons was we thought we could bake our own treats, right? Bring in the staff, and it really was just costing us a lot of money to do it that way. I think I would share that if you're going to start your own business and you have your recipe, to take it to one of the bigger manufacturing. And there's the catch too, is finding them, because people don't share. Once you find someone to make and bake your treats, you don't give it up, right? You don't share it. So you have to do some due diligence. But I would say take it to one of the bakers early on that can do mass production.
Yeah.
And if you're serious, you'll have to shell out some money for it. But in the long run, you're going to be spending less per cookie than you would making it on your own in your own commercial kitchen if you're not really planning to be a commercial baker. Does that make sense?
Good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's really sound advice. Yeah.
Most people don't do that. Most people would do what you sort of suggested. What they'll do is they'll sit at home and get 2 stoves. You know what I mean? And think that that's scaling, and that's not scaling. You're never going to get there.
No.
You're not. And it's a hard lesson to learn because we spent so much money making the treats at a commercial rented space, bringing in bakers to help us. And at the end of the day, you're worried you have to pay them, you have to pay the kitchen. And the cost savings to go to a baker and have them mass produce it is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
But the lesson learned going to a baker is when you're doing your due diligence, look out for brokers who will act as a go-between, because they will show themselves as if they are the baker. And when you come to find out, because this happened to us, you find out that they're not, and then they're getting their cost as a middleman. So you think you're getting the best price, and you're not, because you have that middle person in there getting their cost as well.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
It's hard lessons, but I think, in the matter of being in business since 2012, I think we've learned a lot of lessons early on that helped us get past them and start moving forward. And I see you smiling. What are you smiling for, Bill?
No, the one I was going to ask you about, so I was telling Kenny about this, but the first time that I talked to you, we did a podcast on Hubba One of the funniest but the best tips I got from you was you talked about templating everything. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I remember, like, I was telling Kenny this last time or the time before that, right? Is that it's just one of those things, like when I asked you, what are your tips, and you were like, template everything.
Yes.
And I was like, what? Like, how is this a tip? But the more you talked about it, the more it made a ton of sense. Would you mind sharing that? Like, do you remember?
You can tell I forgot because, yeah. So I say template everything.
Yeah.
When someone emails you, they want pricing, they want to know what you do, and then you send them a personalized email.
Yeah.
Well, that gets old after the 10th or 15th time that you're answering somebody for what they need in an email.
Yeah.
So I've learned in my corporate life that everything should be templarized. I can't say the word, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
And so I create emails that have all the standards in there, and I pull it out when I have to send a wholesale worksheet. I pull it out when I'm just introducing myself to somebody. And that's just for emails, but it's everything was branded and standardized early on.
Yeah.
And even when they ask for, do you have a wholesale sheet? Well, heck, when you don't know what half these things are, you understand what they are, but you really don't know what the layout should be. Yeah. I Googled everything. And when I hear people asking me the simplest questions without doing some legwork, it really does surprise me that they don't have some of the necessary requirements to start a business. Yeah. Because those are key things. I mean, we do it in our everyday life. You standardize. It's a process, and you have to streamline your process from start to end to be able to make money.
Yep.
Kind of remember, though, most people, what they think when they have an idea, an idea, and even if they make a product, they assume that is a business, and it's not. An idea or a product is not a business make. That's it.
No,
there's a lot of
nice
stuff around it.
Absolutely, and it's nice to have those ideas that you're going to run with and say, I'm going to do this, but what does it involve? You have to have a product launch. What's that process? What's the brainstorming that you do to move forward with all the other things? There you are. I lost you for a second there, Phil.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It made me feel so bad.
I know. But you mentioned Hubba, and I have to say that I'm working with them now on something, and they were really helpful because they're launching some new things on Hubba. Yeah. And we're really excited as a wholesale offering that we can be part of this. And I did hear back from one of the persons when I was saying, thank you so much for helping me. They're like, oh, no, I'll help you anytime because you're a legend here.
I was like, a legend there.
That's awesome.
Kelly's a legend, period. Like, so anyone who meets Kelly is like, oh, my God, she is the best. So, yeah, you guys are meeting a legend. It's kind of cool.
You're fun.
What did you do before this?
Corporate life. So I worked at big Fortune 500 companies globally and ran different departments. And my background is quality, Six Sigma. You go in and you streamline processes. And
I was wondering why you were so process focused, because that is very abnormal.
That's not Kenny or I, actually.
It's so important. It makes your life so much easier. I can't tell you my desk is that way. It's clutter, but
doesn't matter. Your patterns is not, which is good.
It's hard to be like that. That's hard.
Interesting.
But you see how people in this industry could use the benefits of someone like you, Phil, and Kenny, because they hear these podcasts and they can start educating themselves and gaining the knowledge they need. And it's just little tidbits. It's creating templates. It's emails, standardizing them. Yeah. Create your brand up front of who you are with your business cards. Keep everything simple, because the more you try to elaborate on something, it's going to be harder down the road. So I think simple is the best way for any process.
No, it's good. It's good advice.
That's
very good advice.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously working. You're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you're killing it.
Yeah.
Well, the next step I think is actually looking to see, maybe investors, and I think that's where we are now, because we have a lot going on behind the scenes that people are starting to look at us. Mm-hmm. And that piece is we've been self-funded thus far. So being self-funded, you just don't want anybody to touch anything, right? Yeah, you can invest, but you don't get anything.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you anything, but you can invest.
Yeah.
That's not how it works, and I know it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we know in order to compete at the next level, we're going to have to start looking at something.
If you're going to scale up, like your first idea to scale, period, you had to get out of the kitchen. You had to get full, and that's your first learning. The second learning, if you really want to get to 2,000 stores or 2,500 stores, you guys can do it. You, Robert, can do it. But the house is up for mortgage now again, or you're starting to put your nuts
on the house. Line. We sold the house already. The house was sold early on to start the business.
Okay.
So I mean, you got and that's what scares most people. I mean, you know what? Better to have 75% of something really cool than 100% of not a hell of a lot, right?
Right, because it's so easy. You can really get in the weeds and really look at everything very narrow, right? Yeah. And if you don't start having the bigger strategy, which is how do I scale up? Yeah. Well, you could say, well, I already started small, so now you really have to scale. And it really is starting to say, okay, we're open for investors to start talking to them. But you start doing that, and the conversation is, where are you in revenue? Yeah. Well, it's funny. We have a lot of things in the pipeline, but the revenue is not as high as a lot of the investors want it to be.
Yeah.
So then you're trying to figure out how to work with them, and most won't work with you based on that revenue. They want it to be high.
Yeah.
They want to start looking at, you got to be near, they would love to see you more near the millions.
Yeah.
Start having that conversation.
Right.
Right.
But there are a lot of people, especially, there's a lot of guys that specialize in small VC. Like they'll look at companies in the $250,000 to $500,000 range. And that's the thing too, like sometimes you got to be careful because I mean, that's an industry of bandits too. They'll sell you a lot of really great stories as they're taking your company away from you while you're looking and thinking, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy. And I think I was gullible early on in the beginning, not even just about investors, just everybody willing to want to work with us. Right. And then they're all of a sudden saying, for example, when we talk about having it look like we have a bigger team, bigger processes, and, sure, I'm the CEO, but you can talk to my team. Well, the team is me and my husband, who's my business partner. I founded it, and then he and I joined the business.
Yeah. Right.
But when we started out early on, we hired a marketing team in California that pretty much lied and said they had the credentials to support us. They would also be our business partner and really help us build our business.
Yeah.
And it ended that we $3,000 a month to 6 months later, it was like, this is kaput. They didn't deliver on what they said they would.
Wow.
So you realize you're losing money early on and how to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, though, at least you're recognizing it. I know. I mean, Phil and I have had episodes where we go through stories, and I know people on year 10, year 12, and they're still doing the same shit that they should have corrected probably, at year 1.
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, sooner or later, bleeding is, fine to bleed, but you got to stop the bleed.
Right.
Right. Or at least understand if you're going to continue to bleed, at least understand that you're bleeding. Like, don't be delusional.
There's so many people they think that the fairy godmother is going to come and just wave the wand and it's going to be better. Well, it's not. You have to recognize that if you're self-funded, your credit cards are going to be high. And there are some that we have money to pay for our baked goods coming in. It's a little nerve-wracking at the same time. But if you don't understand that's part of business, then you might as well get out now, right?
Yeah,
exactly. You've been it way too long. But I would say that, you were asking me a few things, Bill, just like in a business and how do you grow. I really think it has to do that anybody can have an idea of what they're going to do, right? As Kenny said, okay, poof, here's the idea that we have.
Yeah.
But from there, how do you make it grow? And it really is that the internet can be your best friend and start Googling things. How do I create a spreadsheet? How do I do all this? Those are basics that any business owner should have, which will help them. Yep. But growing from there is really keeping to the standards. And again, it goes back to process, right? I mean, it really is. Streamline it. And just because I created it a year ago, I have to look at it and streamline it again.
Yeah, it's always about iteration, right? It's I built it, it seems to run smooth, but if I find a better way to do it, I got to do it.
Yes.
Right? How do I move to the better way and the faster way as fast as I can, right? So
you can definitely tell your background lends to this though, because That's why I'm asking. I'm listening to you thinking, okay, you're not normal. You're not small.
I'm not normal,
Joe.
Penny.
You're not Joe Normal. Woke up in the morning, started a small business. Bullshit. There's another story in here. You've got some, but that's critical to bring with you.
It is
right?
critical, but it's funny because in corporate life it's different, right? Are you still you're in corporate life, right? And
Not anymore. I left it.
and that's awesome because when you're in corporate life, it depends on your boss whether or not they think you're wonderful. But you really do take away a lot of tidbits through the 25 plus years that I've been in corporate life. And it really is, how do you grow things? How do you move forward and create a quality product and keep it quality? That's hard to not waver from that. And I say that half kidding, but at the same time, it's easy. You can go down the road of kind of going, okay, I don't care what the raw ingredients are, and I can make a dog treat that is good enough because you see it on the market. They're 37 calories. Yeah. But we really wanted to stay true to what we started, which was very simple ingredients. And then when you hear people say, well, my dog likes these, and then you realize, well, I don't put the sugar in there that is disguised as all natural. And it really is important for people just to understand when they're looking at things and reading things, to understand what they're looking at. A lot of people don't. And I just think that people have to go that route and educate themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you something on that. Sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, like, in terms of, so you've got a product here in 500 stores. My question was going to be, like, how are you educating people? How does anybody know what this product is? I mean, so it's got chia in it. They're thinking, okay, well, big deal. So you went by the chia dust fairy and, throw some chia in there to have a cool word and away you go. Like, who cares? So how do you tell people, why are they doing this?
So
outside of, they're very nice.
Thank you. So we don't just add in chia. It's not just the fairy dust in there. It really is infused into the product. So we knew, again, going back to cost and understand what we were building, that we didn't want to do eggs. There was a chance we could have a problem with it. And if we didn't have the right people handling the eggs, putting it in, that could be another problem. It's the raw ingredient itself. So we knew that we had to come up with a way to create treats that would be binding, dense, but still breakable for trainers and things like that. So by doing that, the chia is actually infused. So the way we do educate people is by having the stores ask us to come in. Having the store, sending in each one of the boxes we send out, we put information in there about chia seeds and why they're so wonderful. But it goes back to when we start talking about educating, you see people start rolling their eyes. Okay, we already know about chia seed, chia pet, right? Yeah. Everybody knows about the chia pet.
Yeah.
And it's plant-based, but they don't understand all of that. So our part, and it's challenging, is to educate people on the goodness, the healthiness of the product. It only being 5 calories. That they do taste good, and that you should be able to eat the treat without feeling like you're going to get sick. You should be able to eat it. You should be able to eat every dog treat that's on the market. If you can't, then it's not a good product to give your dog.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So we just educate little by little. Hey, can I give your dog a treat? Let's test it out. Here's a free sample. And going back to educating people in business, one of the things we realized is that it was hard giving out free samples when you're making the treats in a commercial kitchen, right? Yeah. You know that someone's making them for you. You're like, oh my God, that's like going to cost me how much to give these free samples out? Yeah. But when you really do start mass producing, you have to give free samples out. You have to do it. You have to give a lot to the stores. You have to figure out ways to give it to the consumer themselves, because that's the only way people are going to start hearing about you and knowing about you.
Good advice.
Nice. Yeah, very good advice. Yeah.
Now, do you guys do a lot of social media for your podcast and getting your word out? Do you use a lot of that?
We do some. We probably don't do nearly as we definitely don't do as much as we should.
We're gonna do sampling once we get out of this commercial kitchen.
Yeah. We're gonna.
Phil and I don't worry
Kenny's
about
mom.
it, Kelly, because
Kenny's mom makes him biscotti whenever he asks for it.
Really?
So she does. So Kenny's mom is gonna make us free biscotti. We're gonna give it away everywhere.
Phil and I aren't too worried about it because there's 3 listeners last week, and now you. So there's only 4 of us that listen. It's not that big a deal yet. So
I saw the Hubba guy. What's his name? Ben.
Yeah.
He listened to your
5.
thing.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Baby.
Ben is.
I do have to tell you, I was it was a little challenging being able to even click on the link to listen. I don't know what
really?
happened. Yeah,
Okay.
it wouldn't just let me listen, and I had to download all this other stuff that supposedly. Huh?
Oh yeah, no, that's so we can steal your
The guy with
credit
the
card
headphones is the tech guy.
information. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait, what did
Yeah,
Kenny
yeah.
say?
Oh.
See, look at Fancy Dancy there. See the microphone and the headphones, the real high-tech guy?
Was that
Yeah.
where it
That's
went?
our techie.
Yeah.
So all
Tech man.
technical problems we throw to him.
No, you were downloading
Last
software so we can steal all your credit card information, everything like that. But once you gave us all that, we're happy to let you listen to the episode.
Yeah.
Kelly, we have problems with tech. Last week we had our tech guy upload our podcast only halfway.
Well,
So I don't know.
was the
Man.
guy's name Phil? Phil?
I don't know. Some dipshit in Toronto. I don't know. I don't get it. All I know is we wonder why we don't grow. It's a half a podcast.
It's Apple. I was challenged, and it wasn't me personally being challenged.
Yeah.
It's your system. I was going to share it too, and I was
Aren't you
like,
on iTunes?
But did you click on the Twitter or the Facebook
clicked on
feed?
everything. I clicked on
Okay.
everything until finally it let me
Oh no!
listen.
All right,
And then I heard
I'll fix it.
It was 2 weeks ago, I think. I
Okay.
think it was 2 weeks ago where Kenny was having problems with his iPad. He couldn't listen. You couldn't hear him, and so I got to listen to all that
Yeah.
for a good 15 minutes before he actually. Oh, I know what's wrong. There's the hands. There's the hands.
What it is, man. I don't know. There's so many times I just, he starts babbling about tech, and I don't know what the hell we're doing.
I know.
I'm talking to myself. I'm not looking at anything. I just get up and leave. I go have a cup of coffee, come back.
I was talking about. There was an episode I was geeking out over email. Because I did an email blast out, and he was like, mail chimpy. I don't know what you're talking about, right?
The old chimpy.
Yeah, mail chimpy. I love it.
But I was asking you about social media because one of the things Kenny was saying is, like, how do you grow? How do you move forward, and how do you educate the masses, so to speak?
Yeah.
And it really is social media. Facebook actually was our best friend. Early on, that's all we did, and we would do. And then when they started charging us, we would do little by little. We would do pay for $5 here and there.
Yeah.
I can't tell you we're a pro at doing how you go in and set it up and really do the content driven, but it really has helped us get the word out. And we knew early on it wasn't about the sale. It really is just about getting the name out there. So if it meant that everybody who liked our page and their friends, that's who it went to, that's who it went to. It wasn't a targeted Facebook campaign, but it was really just sharing things that we thought were worth sharing about us, not necessarily about the product itself, but just good news.
Right.
And Facebook's been the friend. And I think it's a great way to get the word out there. And now Instagram seems to be like coming right up, and people are really using that a lot more.
Yeah, I think people are leaning on Instagram with all this Facebook stuff going on, right? And so I think, and I think the lean is right now on images and graphics anyway, right? So
all my efforts,
all of that is like,
Instagram. All my efforts.
Hey, Phil, you're no longer in corporate. You can't say lean in anymore.
Do I say that? Did I say lean in?
Yep.
You did. I just ignored it.
Oh no.
He does on every I listen to your podcast. Every podcast you say.
Wait, I say lean in every podcast?
Yep. Lean. You say lean in. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
I've been gone
you haven't been gone
for so long. How can I? No, Hubba wasn't really corporate at all, right? Like
Don't tell Ben that.
Yeah. No. I think Ben knows. Sorry, Ben. No. We weren't. I mean, we're really small. I mean, we were like 6 people.
Okay, so
when I left, we were like 50, but we didn't. Where do I still use that from? Like, I don't know.
But
anyway,
you're leaning in a lot. You're gonna fall over.
Yeah. That's making me sad. I still have corporate in me somewhere.
Isn't that
it's
sad?
hiding somewhere.
Sad.
How is that possible?
Kenny doesn't. Kenny just follows your lead and lets you make all these comments and everything.
I just let him go. I mean, I figure, he's a big kid. He can manage himself. Whatever. One of us has got to be the grounded one that doesn't really know much of anything. And let Big Shot use all the big words. It's all good.
Evergreen, that's another one. You don't say it, but
no, I don't say it.
Oh, thank God!
I don't ever say it. I actually hate that term, evergreen.
Yeah.
I remember it used to be waterfall. Now it's iterative.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, stop, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's all good.
No.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Sorry, now I called you out on live podcast.
No, I
That's
like
okay.
it.
This
I
is
like
what we
it.
do.
I didn't know I did that. I'm actually glad you
Yeah.
did call me out, because now I'm gonna try and watch it so I don't.
Now you're going to call
I
me
don't
out
say
and
it.
say, a friend of mine, Kelly Ison, said,
That's
Every
right. You'll
time
be,
I
you'll
say
be the
lean
caption
in, I'm
for
gonna
next
put
week.
Kelly Ison
Yes.
in there. Yeah. Yeah.
no,
Kelly
and what you'll
Einstein.
do is,
Kelly
I-
Einstein.
yeah, I knew you were going to do that. I saw it, Kenny. I saw it. I said, don't, and you did.
Well, you're the one. You let it. It was like you gift wrapped it. What do you want me to do with that?
It was gift wrap. It really was. Kelly
Oh, shit,
Einstein.
I'm here. I got to take advantage. I'm the only one apparently still awake. It's only 4:30.
People are just going to think I'm rich because I have Einstein as the last name, right?
Well, that and you live in Florida, so I mean, I just figured that's it. You must be loaded.
Yeah, must be in our condo. Yes, we must be.
Exactly.
Everybody
So let me
lives
ask you
on the
something.
water.
Kelly's kind of one of us. So
Kind of.
Kenny, no, you're definitely one of us. So Kenny and I talk about
Does
this
that mean
a
you're
lot,
recording
right?
still, or you're not
Is that,
recording?
yeah, no, I'm still recording, but
Oh,
but
okay.
Kelly's one of us. Like so we do a lot of free plugs, right? We love giving free plugs to
yeah.
people, and then we love we say this on the show all the time, right? Is that if you need to find people, like Kenny and I, so people, right? And Kelly's one of us that way. Kelly is amazing at just hooking people up. So she's always forever kind of stitching relationships together and like introducing. That. Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
important to connect people with people. But I think that at the same time, if you don't feel like you're getting the mutual benefit after connecting somebody, we've had people in the past, I've told Phil this, that I've connected them with stores and things like that. Let me help you out. And then they go and get the similar product, like a dog treat, and try to sell it to the store that I connected them with. So it's like, that doesn't really work. I connected you to that store, and now you're saying, hey, why don't you buy my product?
That's just not cool. Like, I don't expect anything in return. I don't care. If you want some help with it and I can connect you, I'll connect you.
Well, I can give you
It doesn't
dog
cost me
treats.
anything. I don't care.
You can eat them. So when you get the munchies, you can eat the dog treats.
I'd have to rebrand them.
Just call them munchies. That's it.
Hang on. I might be nice, but I'm a little bit greedy too, right? I'm rebranding. That's not gonna happen.
You guys are amazing. We could do this all day. Okay, so I am
We
gonna
can't.
do.
I got a 5:15 at the coffee bar.
Okay. So let's wrap up here. Kelly, do you want to tell people where they can find you? And then there was something else you wanted to tell our audience, right? About crowdfunding. There's a crowdfunding thing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So we've been asked to be a sponsored perk, which is our products are one of the products available for Petpool 2.0. So they are doing an Indiegogo crowdfunding where they are trying to make the next sequel to Petpool. I think everybody in the pet industry is very familiar with Petpool. It's on Netflix, iTunes. It's very interesting and eye-opening about how they manufacture things and mislabel things to get it through the market.
Nice.
And so we were asked by Harrington Films to be part of the perk process for sponsoring. And I posted that on my Facebook page. So if anybody cares to share, they can. But it's Einstein Pets is one of the perks. And I just want to make sure that everything you buy today through them to help them make their film will get shipped out in August.
Okay.
And then on a second note to that, if anybody's interested in learning more about Einstein Pets, you can go to EinsteinPets.com and you can check out our products. Okay, here's Abby. Can you see her?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
there you
Abby.
are.
So cute.
Sorry. Had to throw her in.
That's amazing. All right. That's it. Thank you for joining us. This is amazing. I
Very
love
nice.
that the
Nice
both of
meeting
you
you.
are on.
Very
I don't
nice.
like when you both turn on me, but I like it. I like
Sorry.
I like hanging on with both of you at the same time. It's really great.
Stop gift wrapping.
I could lean into
Stop
that all
handing
day.
it on its silver
You
platter.
lean into it and you're going to fall right
Yeah,
over.
you lean into it.
We are going to say that all the time now, Kenny.
Don't say that because now I'm going to get stuck. If I start saying that, I'm going to feel really bad. I don't want to be that.
All right, don't. We won't let you.
It's so much
It was
fun.
nice
It's
meeting
so
you
much.
guys.
You as
Well,
well.
not
That's
you.
awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks
Bye,
so much.
guys.
Okay,
Chat soon. Bye.
Bye.
All right, that's the end of this Commerce Life. We'll be back soon with the next episode. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us feedback. Tell us what you think. Subscribe, like us, join us, share us, tell your friends about us. And we hope to see you next time with more commerce news.